Imagine waking up each day with a knot in your stomach, a silent scream trapped in your throat. You look at the person beside you and a wave of conflicting emotions washes over you. Love, resentment, pity, and a bone-deep weariness that seems to seep into your very marrow. You know somewhere deep down that this isn't right, that this isn't the kind of love you deserve, the kind of life you envisioned. Yet you remain tethered, bound by invisible threads that seem impossible to break. You tell yourself stories. It's not always this bad, or they'll change, or the ever-present, what if I'm wrong? What if I'm the problem? This isn't a tale of simple incompatibility. It's a descent into the labyrinth of the soul, a place where shadows dance and distorted reflections masquerade as reality. It's about the toxic relationships we unconsciously create, the ones that feel strangely familiar, even comforting, in their dysfunction. It's about recognizing that the bars of your prison are not forged from external circumstances, but from the very desires and fears that reside within you. Think of it as a recurring dream, a nightmare you can't seem to shake. You find yourself in the same dark alley, facing the same menacing figure, feeling the same paralyzing fear. You try to run, to hide, to fight back, but somehow you always end up back where you started. This dream isn't random. It's a message from your unconscious, a desperate plea to confront the unresolved wounds that are shaping your reality. Perhaps you've noticed a pattern. You're always drawn to emotionally unavailable partners, or you consistently find yourself in relationships where you're the caregiver, the fixer, the one who sacrifices everything for the other person's happiness. Maybe you attract partners who mirror your own hidden flaws, forcing you to confront the parts of yourself you've been desperately trying to avoid. These aren't coincidences. They're echoes of your past, reverberating through your present. We're not talking about surface-level issues here. We're diving deep into the realm of shadow projections, archetypal fixations, and unconscious yearnings, the hidden forces that shape our relational destiny. We're exploring the uncomfortable truth that sometimes we are more attracted to the idea of someone than to the person they actually are. We fall in love with the potential, the fantasy, the reflection of our own unmet needs. This journey won't be easy. It will require courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront the darkness within. But on the other side of this labyrinth lies true freedom, the ability to create relationships that are based on authenticity, mutuality, and unconditional self-love. It's about rewriting your relational fate, designing a love life that is worthy of your soul's potential. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about love. Prepare to challenge your deepest beliefs about yourself and your worth. Prepare to confront the uncomfortable truths that have been lurking in the shadows, waiting to be brought into the light. This is not just about escaping a toxic relationship. It's about transforming your entire relationship with yourself. It's about becoming the architect of your own happiness, the master of your own destiny. Now let's delve into the inner workings, the hidden machinery that keeps these toxic relationships humming along. Think of your psyche as a vast ancient castle, filled with hidden chambers and forgotten corridors. In some of these chambers reside the wounded parts of yourself, the unhealed traumas and unmet needs that dictate your relational choices. These wounds often stem from early childhood experiences, shaping your attachment style and influencing the kinds of partners you attract. Perhaps you grew up in a home where affection was conditional, where love was earned rather than freely given. Consequently, you might unconsciously seek out partners who mirror this dynamic, recreating the familiar pain in a misguided attempt to finally earn the love you craved. This is where the concept of repetition compulsion comes into play. The unconscious drive to reenact past traumas in the present, hoping for a different outcome. Another crucial layer is the influence of archetypes. In Jungian psychology, archetypes are universal, inherited patterns of behavior and imagery that reside in the collective unconscious. We all carry within us the archetypes of the victim, the rescuer, and the persecutor. In toxic relationships, these archetypes often play out in a destructive dance, with each partner taking on a specific role. One person might embody the victim, constantly seeking sympathy and validation, while the other assumes the role of the rescuer, attempting to fix or save them. However, this dynamic is inherently unsustainable, as it reinforces the victim's sense of helplessness and perpetuates the rescuer's codependency. Consider the woman who consistently falls for narcissistic men. On the surface, it might seem like she has terrible taste in partners. Yet, a deeper exploration might reveal that she unconsciously identifies with the damsel in distress archetype, longing for a strong, charismatic prince to rescue her from her own perceived inadequacies. The narcissist, in turn, is drawn to her vulnerability, as it feeds his need for admiration and control. This dynamic is a perfect storm of unmet needs and distorted projections, creating a relationship that is both intensely alluring and deeply destructive. It's not just about identifying these patterns, it's about understanding their origins. Ask yourself, what unmet needs am I trying to fulfill through this relationship? What childhood wounds am I unconsciously reenacting? What archetypal roles am I playing? The answers to these questions can be uncomfortable, but they are essential for breaking free from the cycle of toxicity. Furthermore, consider the concept of shadow projections. Your shadow is the part of yourself that you disown, the aspects of your personality that you deem unacceptable or undesirable. Instead of integrating these qualities, you project them onto others, seeing them as flaws in those around you. In toxic relationships, shadow projections can create a distorted view of your partner, leading to constant conflict and misunderstanding. You might criticize your partner for being lazy, when in reality, you are projecting your own repressed desire for rest and relaxation. The key is to reclaim your projections, to own the qualities you have disowned. This doesn't mean embracing negative behaviors. It means acknowledging that these qualities exist within you and finding healthy ways to express them. When you stop projecting your shadow onto your partner, you can see them more clearly, as a whole and complex human being, rather than a mirror reflecting your own unresolved issues. This shift in perspective can be transformative, allowing you to break free from the cycle of blame and judgment and cultivate a more compassionate and understanding relationship. Reflecting on this journey so far, a distinct shape begins to emerge from the mist. It's not merely a map of the labyrinth, but a compass pointing towards a different kind of relational landscape altogether. We've navigated the treacherous currents of unconscious desires and the shadowy projections that distort our perceptions, not to simply identify the obstacles, but to understand the underlying forces that propel us towards them. The aim has never been to assign blame, but to illuminate the intricate dance between our inner world and the external realities we create. Consider it like this. Imagine a tapestry woven from threads of past experiences, unmet needs and inherited patterns. Each thread, seemingly insignificant on its own, contributes to the overall design. And while some threads may be frayed or knotted, creating areas of tension and discord, the tapestry as a whole represents the story of our relational life. The challenge lies not in unraveling the tapestry completely, but in carefully reweaving the damaged threads, creating a design that is both beautiful and resilient. What becomes increasingly clear is the profound interconnectedness of it all. The toxic relationships we find ourselves in are not isolated incidents, but rather symptoms of a deeper disconnect, a disconnect from our authentic selves. When we are out of alignment with our own values, needs, and desires, we are more likely to attract partners who reflect this internal discord. Conversely, when we cultivate self-awareness, self-compassion, and self-love, we create the space for healthier, more fulfilling relationships to blossom. It's akin to learning a new language. Initially, the grammar seems confusing, the vocabulary overwhelming. But with practice and dedication, we begin to understand the underlying structure, the subtle nuances that give meaning to the words. Similarly, understanding the language of our own emotions, the unspoken needs that drive our behavior, allows us to communicate more effectively with ourselves and with others. It allows us to create relationships that are based on authenticity, vulnerability, and mutual respect. In light of these insights, the path forward becomes clearer. It's not about finding the perfect partner or magically transforming a toxic relationship into a healthy one. It's about cultivating the inner resources we need to navigate the complexities of human connection with greater awareness, compassion, and resilience. It's about recognizing that true love begins within and that the quality of our relationships is a direct reflection of the relationship we have with ourselves. As we pivot towards the final reflection, let's consider the idea of relational alchemy. Just as alchemists sought to transform base metals into gold, we too can transform our toxic relationships into opportunities for growth and healing. This requires a willingness to confront our shadows, to embrace our vulnerabilities, and to cultivate the courage to create relationships that are aligned with our highest potential. The gold in this case is not a tangible substance but a state of being, a state of inner peace, self-acceptance, and authentic connection. The journey towards this gold is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Having explored the labyrinth, traced the shadows and deciphered the echoes of the past, we arrive not at an escape, but at a threshold. The journey through toxic relationships, as painful as it may be, is ultimately a pilgrimage inward, a relentless quest to unearth the buried treasures of self-awareness and authentic connection. It's a realization that the external drama, the tumultuous cycles of attraction and repulsion, are merely reflections of an internal landscape yearning for integration and wholeness. The true work begins not with changing the other person or manipulating the external circumstances, but with cultivating a profound sense of self-responsibility. It's about recognizing that we are not victims of our relational fate, but co-creators of our experiences, capable of rewriting the narrative, thread by thread. This involves dismantling the ingrained patterns of seeking validation and approval from external sources, and instead, anchoring our worth in the unwavering foundation of self-acceptance. Consider the image of a shattered mirror. Each fragment reflects a distorted image, a fragmented version of reality. The journey through toxic relationships is about piecing those fragments back together, not to create a perfect, flawless reflection, but to embrace the beauty of imperfection, the richness of lived experience. It's about recognizing that our scars are not blemishes to be hidden, but rather badges of honor, testaments to our resilience and strength. The invitation, then, is not to avoid relationships altogether, but to approach them with a newfound sense of discernment and intention. It's about choosing partners who mirror our own commitment to growth, authenticity, and mutual respect. It's about creating relationships that are not based on neediness or codependency, but on a shared desire for genuine connection and reciprocal support. And as you step forward, remember that the path to healthy relationships is not a linear one. There will be stumbles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. But with each challenge, with each opportunity to choose self-compassion over self-criticism, you will strengthen your resolve and deepen your capacity for love. The true practice begins now, not as a destination to be reached, but as a continuous unfolding, a lifelong exploration of the boundless potential within yourself and the transformative power of authentic connection. Let your heart be your compass, your intuition your guide, and your unwavering commitment to self-love your ultimate sanctuary. The journey is yours, and the possibilities are infinite.